Today's topic is Agniveer, good or bad. We got 12 minutes for this. 10 से 12 मिनट हम लोग करने वाले हैं बच्चों। अग्निवीर जो है हमारे लिए अच्छा है फौज के लिए या बुरा है? आप फ्रीली अपने विचार व्यक्त कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में। सो आई विल बी स्टार्टिंग नाउ। तो मैं स्टार्ट करूंगा, उसके बाद कोई भी एक बच्चा पिक कर लेगा। So friends, as we know, today's topic is Agniveer in armed forces. As we already know that Agniveer scheme is basically implemented in all the three armed forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force. This could be my personal opinion. In my viewpoint, I think it is actually good. It is basically giving an exposure to the youth of very young age. If they serve for 4 years at least, and if they are good in their service, they will be retained and they can continue the military service afterwards. Otherwise, they can just leave and then switch to the secondary career. Personally, it is going to benefit armed forces a lot, not only financially as well as professionally, because they will draw in a lot of self-motivated youth who come only to serve, not for the money. Bolo?
Yes, I would like to add one point here. Yes, sir. I would like to add one point here that General Manoj Mukund Naravne, sir, he has depicted in his book that four-star of destiny. Then, generally, when this scheme was introduced, uh, government means the defense forces were not that much aware, and especially the Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. Because if we talk about the three forces in Indian Army, generally soldiers are generally selected on the basis of general duty as well and other works as well. But Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force, both the forces has its most of it has a technical bend of it for services which are technical in nature. So it generally took time to get more into it, and it took time to learn those technical aspects in services. So also he mentioned in his book that the salary which was provided to soldiers that was 20,000 before that, but uh, after he mentioned that it has to be raised, and later it has raised by 30,000. So by these incidences we can depict that slowly the process start improving, and after some many years it will definitely improve and soldiers will definitely get benefit of it.
Yeah,
No,
gentlemen, I agree with the previous one. As the Agniveer scheme, according to me, will increase the uncertainty of job security for the individual after spending 4 years in the army. And one thing I would like to put here is that it will impact the military ethos, like two class of soldiers having different service conditions of in the army. So it will impact the military ethos of the individual, because it will impact also the operational capability and operational effectiveness of the individual, because 4 years of 6 months of training is not that much effective, according to the military personnel, to be a competent soldier. It takes 7 to 8 years, but according to this scheme, it will give only 6 months of the training, so it will impact the service operational effectiveness and operational capability of the soldier.
No, I also add one point
The
that
skill enhancement can be a good point for it. Means the participation in the army can provide individuals with some great skills such as leaderships, discipline, and teamwork. So therefore, this Agniveer scheme it might offer training and support to help individuals to develop these skills that could benefit them both personally and professionally as well. Even serving in the army can build a sense of national unity, means as individuals from diverse backgrounds come together to serve a common to serve for a common purpose, and Agniveer scheme could contribute to this by encouraging participation in the army regardless of caste, religion, or socio-economic status of individual.
Yeah, I partially
if-
agree with the previous gentleman that it is not a fact of caste, religion, or anything else, but to make the army as a on the basis of contractual manner will decrease the hope and josh and jazba of the individual for going into the army.
no, if you see the salary and all, then we will see that
4-year
The
tenure
peak and
service.
perks are also
of
got
the-
denied by the central government in this scheme. So
Now, if we talk about the salary or not, the salary we provided is 30,000 to 40,000. If you see that 30% will be cut off from the salary and 30% will be given by the government. Overall, he will supposed to get 11.7 lakh rupees in the 4 year. So after getting that
Yes,
amount of money, he can invest that money to a different purpose. At the age of 19 to 23 age, at this period, he can able to get a lot amount of money. From that, he can prepare for different perspective of job, and they can gain more in the life.
but
Army will
gentlemen,
not
there
be only just wait complete. Army just not just earning of money. These 6 months and 4 years will give the importance of the nationality, and peoples will know the importance of the nation, and the growing terrorism can be reduced by awareness among themselves only.
Friends, I would like to add a point here that armed forces is not a service. Armed forces are a service. It is not a job. So if I talk about the Agniveer scheme, it will only draw the serious aspirants. As we already know, there were many tragic accidents happened when the Agniveer scheme was announced. Lot many people committed suicide, and that was not a good trade. The kind of people who are having that kind of mentality are joining the armed forces only to get the monetary benefits of the forces. Armed forces is always being in armed forces. When I was aspiring to join the force, so I was only aspired to become an officer because of the way of life it was offering, not for the money. So yes, Agniveer is, according to me, it is a very beneficial thing. But definitely there are some changes required. The tenure has to be increased because the 23-year fellow who will be coming out after 4 years of service might be a little bit of disheartened if he's not getting employed anywhere else. But yes, they will be having an edge other than the rest of the kids who are out there in the streets, and they will be having already 4 years of service. Recently, a para battalion also commissioned its third batch of Agniveers. So that is a good step that Agniveers are now also joining special forces. They will get the best of the best exposure of the armed forces. They are now allowed to join in any of the services. I have few students of mine who are females and then serving in Navy, in aviation and all. So it is a good step. But yes, there has to be some changes required. But eventually the changes will come over a period of time.
but
So
sort of
I
having
also add one point that
uncertainty
if
of
we
job
if we see
will
the if we see the if we see the retention that India Army is going to conduct 25% from the from the whole group, but it should be increased to 50% so that this will create a good amount, and it will be better for the for the force also.
But gentlemen of having uncertainty towards job, it will impact the mental health and service conditions of an individual. And according to the data published in the Hindu, after 10 years, it will account for 50% of total strength of the army personnel. So by having 50% of the army personnel of training of 6 months, will impact the service condition, condition and operational capability of the army.
Now if you compare with the different countries like Russia, in Russia there is traditional that people have to work for 1 or 2 years for their service forces so that they can grow a nationality in them. And I think this will be better for us because this will create a nationality, and this will be more benefit for the India because right now if you see that terrorism that is going on, people are not active regarding this matter. Some of the cases just like Jammu Kashmir, if people are going to get a job from that place, then they can aware of that things, and they will create a nationalism among themselves. So this will also create a helpful for our nations also.
Last 2 minutes left.
Transitioning to
Yeah, well, but
4 year
see,
service under the
as we see,
Agniveer
as we know that India
scheme
is the
may
country
potentially
having the
result
largest
in
standing army in the world. So as to means, as we know that India is the country having largest standing army in the world, and if you observe the environment around the India, it is majorly not peaceful environment around us. There are neighboring countries that have clashes with us, and to have the national support and have a proper defense, the Agniveer scheme is very much important. As we know, as we can see that the individuals have even get training, and they also get discipline in their life. So
Friends, let's conclude this.
Yes, also I would like to add one
Agniveer
point to
allows
that.
greater
That
flexibility in managing personal
when
resources, and it enables armed forces to adapt more efficiently to changing operational needs and requirements. And transitioning to Agniveer scheme may potentially result in cost savings for the government, as it eliminates the need for long-term benefits such as pensions.
बढ़िया.
Now we can also add one point that if we see that condition that in the nation for giving training for a period of 6 months, they can able to get a new technology that were introduced in the army or air force. They are aware of that knowledge, how they are functioning, how they are using. By also getting this perspective of view, they can enhance their knowledge and can help the country also.
Friends, I
Yes,
think
and so I would like to add one
in
point
2 minutes
here
left.
that
Let's conclude the topic. Is it a good or a bad thing?
yes, sir.
I think we should move toward the conclusion now.
Yes, sir. I would like to add one point here that basically we have discussed its pros and cons as well. But from the conclusion, what we get that the tenure for the services has to be increased because whenever a soldier comes in the unit, the culture and its tradition is very huge. So they have to. It takes time to learn those cultures and tradition. Also the training part. So from the discussion, what we got that the tenure of the service has to be increased, and also the percentage which is 25%, that is also increased. That is has to be increased. So from the conclusion, we get those 2 points.
Well, sir, overall opinions on Agniveer scheme is for army will vary depending on one's individual's perspective. Means such as on issues such as patriotism or militarization and the role of military in the society. So I think that these opinions will vary on one's own individual's perspective.
Yes, I think conclude करने में, if I have to tell you about the conclusion, yes, it is a good. As per me, yes, there are some limitations of the Agniveer scheme, but mostly it is going to benefit because I had some personal experiences with some of the serving officers who were recently out of the forces. They told us that there are some guys who just join for the money, and then when they do not feel they are already serving because it's a government service. Ultimately, when you join the force, you are into government service. So hiring that as soon as the hiring is also tough, and then firing is also very tough. You just cannot see off a government employee just like that, like a corporate company. So many people misuse that thing as well. And like, there were lot many the fellow out there, because that is the first hand experience that I've seen from a fellow officer who told me about this, okay, what these guys do is right. So that is why the Agniveer is implemented, so that only motivated, inspired, and cream of the youth is being drawn. They are not at all worried about the money that are being paid. They are only coming to serve. If they have the potential, they will be retained. That is 25% as of now. 25% of the Agniveers will be retained. But I think personally that there has to be some revision, and there has been revision. There are numerous revisions that are being done by the government. As we know, earlier in NDA also there were no girls being allowed. Now girls are going through NDA. Soon we will see girls will join through serious entry as well. So changes always happen. Modifications and alterations always happen. So that is under consideration now by the government. But eventually it will be as per the need. It is fulfilling the requirement because we need more intake. We need more soldiers in Army, Navy, and Air Force. Shortage is already there. So that was an immediate measure that was being done to because during the COVID, no recruitment was happening. So then Agniveer was there. So I think that is the conclusion कि plus भी है तो negative भी है, पर कुछ revisions इसमें required हैं. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब मैं कंक्लूजन अगर दूं, उदय ने एक बढ़िया बात बोली कि पेंशन से मुक्त हो जाती है सरकार. सरकार ने भाई, सरकार खर्चे कम कर रही है, वैसे भी तुम लोगों को पता है, शॉर्ट सर्विस की तरफ मूव हो रही है गवर्नमेंट. तो पेंशन तो सब सरकारी नौकरियों में बंद है, फौज को छोड़ के. फौज में अग्निवीरों को तो नहीं मिलेगी, और जिनकी 20 साल की सर्विस होती है, जवानों में जो 15 साल की सर्विस के आ रहे हैं उनको पेंशन है. ऑफिसर्स की 20 है, जवानों की 15 है. ठीक है, तो उनको पेंशन है. ये सरकार का खर्चा करने कम करने का भी एक तरीका है. दूसरी चीज, तुम लोग जो जितना डेटा है, अगर ये एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जो बहुत ज्यादा डिबेटेबल भी रहा है, अभी भी इस पे मुद्दा चलता है. कभी अग्निवीर पे अभी अगर तुम लोग न्यूज चैनल पे देखोगे, बड़ी भसड़ वाली चीजें हो जाती हैं, है ना. few veterans are supporting this, few veterans are not at all supporting this. So these kind of things keep on happening over the national internet or the national television as well. So what you guys need to do, you guys need to like be logical, है ना. फैक्ट एंड फिगर्स, डेटा इकट्ठा करो, R&D करो थोड़ा सा. अब अपन एक काम करेंगे, जैसे आज हमने इस टॉपिक पे जीडी किया ना, तुम लोग भले ही कॉपी बनाना चाहते हो बना लो, बिकॉज दीज पॉइंटर्स आर गोइंग टू हेल्प यू इन द जीडी. एसएसबी में हेल्प होगा. अगर मान लो सेम जीडी आ गया, उससे रिलेट करती कोई चीज आ गई ना, तो तुम्हारे पास बातें होंगी बोलने के लिए. समझ रहा है. राजी, नवनीत, अभिषेक, उदय और मंगेश।
Yes.
ठीक है, तुम्हारे पास होगा डेटा, भले ही तुमने कुछ पढ़ा, इंटरनेट पे रिसर्च किया, यू गॉट सम पॉइंटर्स। उसमें ना खासतौर से ना लॉजिकल डेटा को ज्यादा महत्व देना है कि इतना पैसा मिलेगा, अग्निवीर पहली साल इतना, दूसरी साल इतना, तू ये बोल भाई, तेरे पास प्रिसाइज नंबर्स है, नंबर्स स्पीक। ठीक है, तो यही था। आज सबने बढ़िया बोला। मंगेश वॉज नॉट एट ऑल स्पीकिंग, आई थिंक ही इज न्यू, तो ही विल बी ट्राइंग टू सी कि हाँ जैसे आज एक्लिमेटाइज हो रहा है ये तो। ठीक है, मैं
यस
चाहूँगा,
सर।
हाँ आई विल सी यू स्पीकिंग। कल से मैं चाहूंगा कि तू बोलना चालू कर भाई। दिस सेशन विल गो ऑन यूट्यूब। बच्चों जो भी यूट्यूब पेज को देखेंगे सब्सक्राइब कर लेना भाई हमारे चैनल को। हम ये एक्टिविटी जारी रखेंगे, ये सारी साल जारी रहेगी एक्टिविटी, जहाँ पे मैं आधा घंटा अपना देता रहूंगा। ठीक है, क्योंकि मेरी बैच की क्लास तो 8 बजे से होने वाली है वैसे भी। सो वी विल कीप ऑन डूइंग दिस थिंग। थैंक यू सो मच बॉयज फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। आई होप यू गाइज लर्न समथिंग।
सर एक क्वेश्चन बोलूं सर?
अब डाउट्स के लिए यू गाइज कैन रीजॉइन। समय इसमें समाप्त हो रहा है, अब तुम लोग रीजॉइन कर लेना, वहां पे तुम बिंदास जो तुमको पूछना आ जाओ आपसे। ठीक है, चलो मिलते हैं अगले सेशन में। आ जाओ, यू गाइज कैन रीजॉइन द सेम लिंक।